Rule of Rose on the PlayStation 2. This is a hard game to find, but it's mildly famous because it's so hard to find. It's banned in several countries due to controversial pedo-lesbianism. But once one starts playing it, you'll find the only stuff that leans that way is right here. It never gets any worse than this stuff in the trailer. One girl sucks another's finger, and these two make a failed attempt at an Eskimo kiss. After that, it's primarily a horror game. The game begins with a strange boy giving you a crude storybook, then running off. This sets the precedent for the rest of the game. From this moment forward, you're chasing after and following things from the beginning to the end, with only teasingly vague details that give you the slightest idea of what you're in for. When the game starts, you'll notice right away this is a Silent Hill clone. You run around, look at things in the environment, and try various doors that may or may not open. But the design isn't nearly as good. You'll end up running around in zigzags and circles when you're trying to go straight. The camera angles have to be manually changed, so if you're taking corners, you won't know what you're running into unless you change the angle. So, after following this mysterious boy around the old mansion, some really weird events occur, and eventually you come to in a filthy room on an airship. Some mini-society of children rules this ship, and they deem you the lowest-ranking member of their civilization. Once that happens, you're constantly given tasks to find things to appease the upper class. Then the game truly begins. You won't be able to accomplish your task without getting help of this dog, who has the ability to sniff out things that for some reason you can't see on your own before the dog finds it. Once you have the dog at your disposal, you'll spend the rest of the game following it. You can't do much of anything without that dog leading you there first. Even if you know where an item is, if the dog doesn't find it, you can't get it. That's pretty much the game in a nutshell. Follow the dog to one item, have the dog sniff the item, which leads to another item, and on, and on, and on. Take this one for example. The evil upper class wants you to find a butterfly, and so you end up finding this hat. Have the dog sniff the hat, which leads to a rag, which leads to a key, which leads right back to the same place you started from. Then you use the key and find a butterfly case, and follow the dog to the butterfly, follow the butterfly, and you get the idea. This goes on for the rest of the game pretty much. Follow the dog from place to place, finding things to find other things, following other things, all to return to the place where the search started and get some reward from the upper class that isn't a reward at all. Follow the dog, follow the butterfly, follow the rabbit, follow the feathers, follow. Battle is a rare instance in this game, which makes it a welcome reprieve from the incessant fetch quests. Like Silent Hill, you use everyday things like forks and tennis rackets, but the battle system is so damn flawed it may be worse than chasing things around. First of all, it's next to impossible to hit anything. I realize that's probably realistic for a young girl who's never hit anything in her life to not know how to fight one shred, and people don't play video games for realism. We have real life for that. To make it even better, when there is battle, you're invariably swarmed with an army of critters that smother you in little impy bodies. The enemies are mostly the same little imps throughout, with variances depending on the chapter. There's rats, goats, pigs, and fish, and they never come at you in anything less than packs of about 10,000. And what's even better, you can't see your health meter without pausing the game. So you don't know if you're inches from death without breaking the flow of the play. This especially sucks in those instances where you have to beat the enemies, such as when you get locked in rooms or face bosses. And they are tough. They take around 1,000,000 hits and send you to the floor with one blow. All you can do to beat them is stick and move a lot and be really patient, as this will take a long time. So, when you can, it's often better to run past them and try to fight, unless the dog leads you to a door that won't open. Forgot to mention, sometimes the dog leads you astray. It can take you in the wrong direction, or to a door you can't open, which means you have to go through some random door and a few rooms so the dog changes direction to a path you can take, which slows the game down even more than the sloth's pace it's already trudging along at, along with the incessant hunts for crap items like ribbons, socks, and clothespins. While you're hunting for things like rabbits and mermaids, you'll also deviate from your hunt to find random crap that gets traded for food. This is totally optional, but you need the food to restore your health after the beatings you take from those battles that pop up without warning. Food can be found without trading things, but it's rare. During the later stages, so many enemies come at you can't expect not to get your ass handed to you trying to break through the wall of enemies to return the missing teddy bear or whatever. These side quests wouldn't be so bad if you weren't traipsing around the exact same environment again and again on the airship every single chapter. There is a short reprieve to a small house back on terra firma, and you do eventually return to the old mansion at the game's beginning, but 80% of the game is spent on that airship, rerunning over the same ground over and over and over again, hunting for innocuous shit to get food to stay alive to collect whatever crap the kids want this month, so you can get a spider in the face upon succeeding. Why this is so frustrating, and why I don't just turn this game off, is the plot development is so baffling and intriguing, I want to see where it's going. Rule of Rose is a huge tease, always dangling little bits of info in front of you, making you think you're going to get more, then making you piece it together yourself. Unlike Silent Hill, which taunts with pure horror and psychological trauma, Rule of Rose plays a sick socio-political game with little children, paired with a total psychological mindfuck, to the point where you don't know if you're alive, dead, or if you really exist. It makes you want to find out more, so you run around the ship, following the dog to find more shit, to get tortured again, and get a little more info. Which is why the side hunts for marbles suck so bad. It takes away from the story building, which is by far the best aspect of the game. The girl you play has a huge gap in her memory, and the events of the game fill that slowly bit by bit. The only way really to focus on the story and play the game in a direct manner is to play it through and get the good ending by doing one important specific thing at the end. Then you get access to the new costumes and stronger weapons that come with them. You have a maid of some sort, a tennis player, or my favorite, the giant octopus. Each of these has a weapon that can take down enemies a lot faster, so you don't take as much damage and need to get healed. But the problem is, once you've beaten the game, you've already seen everything. Your mystery is revealed, so what's the point? The really fascinating thing about the story is at the end, if you get the good ending, you start to realize the entire events of the game are really a schizophrenic breakdown on the part of the PC. None of it actually happened. Her mind was attempting to reconcile lost memories of traumatic events that occurred years past, so it does deserve credit on that note. Unlike Silent Hill games where you're not sure of what's real and what's not, Rule of Rose says it to you straight. You've lost your fucking mind. So, Rule of Rose is a worthwhile playthrough, if only the first time.